Hey Gallagher. Thank you. Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm at a gas station. Just got done hanging out with Gallagher a little bit. It's a cold, wet holiday season for Houston. But I said I was going to make a video for one of my friends' mom. Not just any friend, he's one of my closest friends. He was a teacher, and I think he's going to go back as teaching. He should. He's one of the best I've ever seen. So there's your compliment, Tosh. But Tosh's mom is most likely an extraordinary lady. Haven't met you yet, but I'm pretty sure I will soon, sooner or later. Tosh's mom just got a dog, a puppy, and he requested me to make a video about how to raise a puppy. Just a couple of tips, and if I'm missing something, which I'm pretty sure I will, just let me know if you have any questions, and I'll directly talk about that concern for you, no problem. But a few things, even though this video is specifically for my friend's mom, this will apply to any of you guys who are girls that received a puppy for Christmas. Hopefully it's not on a whim, because it's not a walk in a park. In fact, you won't be able to go to a park for 14 weeks until the dog's 14 weeks, or a little past 4 months old, and a few weeks after their vaccinations, because you don't want your dog to get parvo or bordetella. It could be very life-threatening for a puppy. So make sure that your puppy gets their proper vaccines, especially parvo if you're planning on just going out into public, like the dog park or something like that. Very scary stuff. So putting that aside, and just assuming that the people that I'm talking to right now are very, very responsible individuals that have thought this through, then here we go. The first tip that I definitely would suggest, that may be controversial for some of you, is a dog crate. Now with the crate, don't just get one size fits all. The dog crate needs to be compact enough for your dog. The dog should be able to just go around in circles but not walk back and forth in them, because the whole idea of this dog crate are for many reasons, but for the primary reason is to help the dog understand individuality. I know you want to sleep with your dog, or I know your puppy's probably going to be whining a lot for attention, which is fine. I'm positive that you're going to give them all the attention they need, but at the same time, there is something called separation anxiety that you need to nip. Do not allow your puppy to teach you. Do not let your puppy teach you when you should leave. You can leave whenever you feel like. Just be sure that you're giving them enough affection. Now, enough is up to you, but the crate would individualize them and help them understand that there are boundaries. And the main reason I talk about the crate is not for boundaries or separation anxiety, because I know some of y'all are going to just break that rule anyways. But what you won't break, and what you really want to happen, is to have your puppy as potty trained as possible. So the dog crate, having it small enough for them to be able to walk circles in, is just enough for them to understand that they don't want to poop where they sleep. So they can sleep there, and you can have a little bit of peace of mind knowing that most likely your puppy is going to do okay, as long as you limit or control and have consistency of when they have their water and food. With the water, I personally, if they're very young, you may miss some sleep. Just set the timer for 4 hours and let them out again. But otherwise, if it's a large dog breed puppy, they could hold it off or stave off for maybe 6 to 8 hours. But you want to limit their water intake at night, just so you can have peace of mind when you go to bed. So for me, it was 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. I'll stop the water intake. I'll make sure they go out twice, just for a restroom break prior to going into the crate, so I can go to sleep. So when they wake up, bring them back out. Consistency. Make sure you mark the time when they go out to go potty, and try to figure out a regimen. For me, it was every 2 hours take them out, and then I'll mark it down. The next week it'll be every 3 hours. Next week will be every 4 hours. So at the same time, 24/7 learning, right? The best way to do that is to engage. Maybe invest in a little treat pouch. That way you'll always have treats on you. With this treat pouch, right when they wake up, they're going to understand that you are a lot of fun. Other than the fact that they probably already love you to their furthest extent. When they do something right, when they come to you, make sure you have a treat ready for them, and give them a marker, a clicker if you want to. I personally am too lazy to carry one, so I always give them the yes, or I'll use their name, because their name should be used in a positive manner. What I don't ever do, and I definitely would not suggest this, and this happens to be one of the most common mistakes, is to use their name in any negative action, a consequence. Say they pooped, and they say, Duke. That would be inappropriate, or that to me is not a good idea, because that teaches them that whenever they hear their name, there's a negative connotation to it. So they did something wrong. It should be Duke, and they should come running to you, because that's a great thing. It's a recall. It's a natural instinctive thing. So teaching your dog recall is a piece of cake whenever you start using their name and in a positive sense, and you always have a reward. Other than their name and your petting, there's the thing that teachers know about most, which is operant conditioning. Just because we say yes and their name, they're going to be so hyped up because they relate that to something positive, which is food for me. So food in the beginning is one of the best, most primal rewards possible, other than petting and such. And yeah, another thing that I would do as a tip for a puppy is, if they don't like something, do it. If they don't like you petting them on the head or rubbing their chest or grabbing their feet, do it. Do not avoid these things, because as they grow older, they're going to start teaching you that they don't like it. You have to teach them that there's nothing to fear, nothing at all. That's how you create a confident dog, and then when they approach that fear stage because of their imagination, they're able to combat that with all the confidence and all the lessons they learned that they conquered while they were a puppy. So consistency, crate train, using the reward system, using their name as a recall are all great things. Now here's another one that you'll hear a lot of people use, is use a tether, or what they call basically as a leash without a loop on the end. Now if you really want to do this, I'm all for it as well. Just grab yourself a rope, or you can find yourself a nylon leash. Cut off the loop at the end, because you don't want it to get tangled on anything. It's going to be a drag leash. Basically, if they do something wrong or they're about to run off, just step on that leash just to make sure they don't dart out, and you have a little bit of a ability to stop them, rather than trying to chase after a dog, which most likely is faster than we are. So have that lead ready if you really want to. With that lead, I'm not the one kind of person that takes that leash and tie it to them, and it's just so I can control when they're going to go potty. The whole idea of having treats on me all the time and making sure that they love me and being next to me as a reward is the fact that I'm lazy like that. I want them to be next to me all the time, so I'm going to reward them for being next to me. I don't want to tie them next to me, because that's just too much trouble. I mean, think about it. When you have to use the restroom, they're going to be in the bathroom with you. That's not fun, and I like my privacy. So if they run off, I call their name, they come to me, I give them a treat, maybe I give them a rub down, I grab their feet, whatever. If I feel like they're uncomfortable with it, I pat them on the head, even if they're uncomfortable with it. Eventually it becomes operant conditioning to a point where they believe that it's a great thing. Their name is a great thing. The only thing that's not good is being away from me, and that goes with a no, or a passive correction, as in negative correction, as in no treat at all, right? So all of these things kind of interlink with each other. All it really does is make sure that we are comfortable, because when we're comfortable and happy, there's less likelihood of us taking out on our puppies. If the puppy's doing something wrong, I mean, you can imagine there's a lot of parents out there that will spank their children for these reasons. It's not their fault. Now remember, there's this really popular book that says cats has Asperger's and dogs have ADHD. And that's totally true. Puppies especially have ADHD. So Miss Shirley, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this, and teachers were familiar with that. A lot of children are overly labeled as such, but also teachers, you also know that we are taught with
for me?
we are taught to deal with these things. We have different methods. We're given professional development to teach them in different ways. Dogs are the same way. They will have ADHD for the rest of their lives. We just have to learn how to deal with it. And the best way to deal with it is for them to understand that being next to me is the best thing. So when they're next to us and they become hyperactive and attention deficit, at least that attention is hovering around us and not somewhere else, because puppies can get into things that children can't. So yeah, this is getting a little too long, but all in all, this is all for our sake, to help our puppies love us and help them understand us. Intrinsic learning and operant conditioning, all of these things can really help a puppy be happy. And once we do that and make them confident like you did with Tosh, then you got yourself a good boy. Because Tosh is a good boy. Okay, I'll end it there. Goodbye, Internet. I'll talk to you later.